Good morning and welcome to The Verdict on this Sunday as we look back on what was a magnificent Blue Diamond Day at Caulfield. 3 Group 1s which were absolutely stunning. Craig Williams dominated with 2 of them, and then Streisand in the big one had the crowd roaring. The owners were incredible. For Clinton McDonald and also Ben Melham, it was the biggest day, and plenty of memories were created yesterday, and it's good to have a couple of superstars on the panel as well. We've got Grace Ramage is here and Mick Sharkey as well. How are we, guys?
Very well, thank you, Michael. It was such a good day yesterday. We were both out there. Just the vibe. I mean, the weather helped, of course it did, but at one stage you could not move in the mounting yard. It was absolutely packed. Such a good day.
As my youngest daughter would say, it was a super fun, happy day, Dad. It was great. And look at those scenes there from the mounting yard. Like, absolutely amazing post of Blue Diamond. Michael, you said memories were created at the races yesterday. I reckon some of the memories might have been erased last night with the celebrations, but rightfully so. Huge group of people. A bunch of old Haileybury schoolmates, part of the ownership. A friend of mine, Doug Painter, in the ownership. I didn't even realise till I saw his head bouncing around there in that scrum. So, great day.
Well, I thought you might have got the Barb Streisand reference with memories, but obviously not in your playlist.
The Duck Sauce, Barbara Streisand song, that's probably more where I'm at.
That's what we're talking about, isn't it? And they played it straight after the race.
They had to.
It was amazing.
Biggest crowd in 20 years for Blue Diamond Day. The atmosphere looked amazing. That reminded me of when the Tigers won the premiership, Swan Street, Richmond. All of the crowd there. Dusty was in the middle, giving these don't argues. Clinton McDonald copped a fist to the schnoz. But that's what racing is all about. Having all of those owners in, they're just loving it. Oh,
it was so good, but not just for the Blue Diamond. I mean, across all the races on the day, atmosphere was incredible. Like, as you said, the biggest crowd in 20 years. You could 100% feel it on course. We're in a really, really good spot in terms of just the general interest. And the crowd, I noticed it in the spring as well, especially on Champion Stakes Day, Melbourne Cup week. Just the crowd noise when you've got a tight finish, of which there were a couple yesterday, is just amazing. Like, it's gone up a notch, in my opinion, in recent years.
I think there's a really good vibe, especially with the younger crew, which is the generation we want to get back to the races. Now, you have helped us out. You've answered an SOS today.
Yes.
Ollie is on the sick list. You might have seen on social media. Have a look at this. This was Ollie after a surfing accident. He's got a pretty old gash, a pretty big old gash underneath the chin there. Luckily for Ollie, looks is not his major strong suit, so he doesn't need to worry too much about that. But we are hoping you'll be back next week, Ollie. You'd think after he finishes risking his life riding for 30 years that he'd be okay, but no, back of an ambulance and back in a hospital after a surfing mishap.
Yes, surfing as well. You'd think hitting the water would be relatively soft, but might have been on a reef break down on the surf coast somewhere.
At least that's semi-masculine. You've hurt your finger knitting, apparently. So, what have you done here?
Excuse me, I've snapped my pinky finger. I've had surgery during the week, so I've got some screws. I'm now officially bionic, Grace. Looking forward to that future. I said to the surgeon, any chance of a go-go gadget-like extension, little umbrella or the propeller? Remember the propeller? And he used to zing it around and out of his head and he'd fly around. But unfortunately, no, just sticking it back to
All right, well, good luck to you. We'll forget about Mr. Gadget. Let's talk about the Blue Diamond, because for Streisand, it was a dream. The second Blue Diamond in 3 years for Clinton McDonald and his team. It was an interesting race from the perspective we lost the early favourite on the Friday. A lot of drama. Guest House on the inside, a little slow away. Grace, how did you see the Blue Diamond overall? Because it wasn't the frenetic speed that we would normally see in a Blue Diamond.
Well, you can see them all sort of racing in a clump there. I would agree with that. I did anticipate there to be more horses pressing forward. I thought maybe a horse like Eternal Warrior from that wide barrier could have a look, but well, he got back in the ruck and he was one of a couple of really bad luck stories of the race. Streisand, the ultimate professional that she is, she puts herself in a winning position time and time again, 3 deep off the speed, and she's just stuck on so well. Guest House was really game from there as well. She's just does everything right. Streisand, so similar to Hayasugi in that she's just come through third up, blinkers on. This is her grand final. At every step of the preparation, she's ticked the box and she's done it again in the big one.
You could see there in the early stages of that race how many horses were over racing, including Closer to Free, who was leading or sitting outside the leader. and still going keenly, and featured in the Stewards Report as a result. But there were probably 5 or 6 horses at one point of that race that all wanted to go quicker, and a number of those were near the speed. So, not Streisand, as you said, she's had plenty of practice now. She was the most raced horse in the field. She knew how to relax, did so on speed, and was there at the end when closer to free. Was probably feeling the pinch from that early work.
Yep. 5th run in, it's the same recipe that Clinton used with Hayasugi. It's the recipe his dad used with Kortza when she won the Blue Diamond in 1989 as well. And we were going to get Clint on this morning, but I don't think he's got home yet. He's still enjoying it. Have a listen to the aftermath yesterday.
Very similar to Hayasugi. Like Hayasugi, understated, just won by a head, and everyone wrote her off in the diamond. I think she started $18. And same with this filly. She's had 4 starts. She got beat a short half head in 2 of them. She was unlucky when she ran 5th, and she won a 4th start. So I thought to myself, have I got this wrong? I think she's going to right, this filly, And what I said all the way along is she's had a faultless preparation. She's had a solid preparation, and she's just come here and she's tough. And that's what you need to win these races.
Gee, it's been a tumultuous 12 months. There's been a lot of highs and lows for Clinton. We know he lost his mum not long ago. He was in intensive care during Cup Week after he slipped and fell and punctured his lung and broke a number of ribs. But he always bounces back, Clinton, no matter what he's been through.
He's very resilient and a very good horseman as well. And to win 2 diamonds with, there's not a huge stable of horses there, is there, compared to some of the rivals that are filling the race full of runners. To win it twice with a comparatively small team. And what I loved about yesterday, Grace, a daughter of Magnus, like a proper Victoria's Premier 2-year-old race, a Victorian stallion that's had such an impact here. It's actually quite odd to see a Magnus win a feature race and not be trained by Robbie Griffiths. You'd be spewing that one got through.
It would be.
Only cost $100,000 as well, so great buying from Shane McGrath, who's they've made a formidable team, haven't they, Clinton and Shane, in recent years? And so many good stories. Michael Gardner, AFL Ruckman, the colours carried to victory were those of his grandfather who won a Newmarket with Heron Bridge. He's got a big crew involved in the ownership as well. And Ben Mellum, talk about a sliding doors moment. He had the option of riding Big Sky. He decided to stick loyal with Clinton McDonald. Big Sky was scratched on the eve of the diamond. And in the end, he's a diamond-winning jockey.
Clinton and the team have done a great job. Obviously well bought by Shane and the guys, but the team at home do a fantastic job with her. She's a cranky little thing on the ground, but lovely to ride race day. And Blinker's first time today, we always felt she'd improve with them on her. She was a little bit sleepy going to the start, and I give her a bit of a squeeze, and then she picked up and I lit her up in the barriers a bit just to make sure she'd jump, because she went to sleep on me again. Obviously a lot of the speed didn't jump and we didn't end up going that quick. I was just in a position where I could, just control the race basically, and she did the rest.
He's got a good relationship with Clinton. Jamie, when he was suspended, rode it and said, don't worry, there'll be a Melamon in the Blue Diamond. And she may have been a little unlucky herself on Guest House. I think if it had got rolling to momentum, it could have been a big, big danger. There
were a couple of really hard luck stories. We'll touch on them in just a moment's time. But on that Clinton McDonald and Ben Mellum partnership, like we know for many, many years when they combine, there's, a fair bit of intent behind it. Clinton will basically say, Ben, I've got this horse going there, like you need to ride it, you're going. And punters can zero in on that, especially in recent times. 28% strike rate from like their last 100, which is so good. I've been doing Friday nights and they've got a ridiculous strike rate at Cranbourne on a Friday night as well at the moment. So in terms of like a punting edge, I mean, it's nothing new, but it is bang on time and time again.
The other thing is Clinton's happy to share when he's having a bet,
100%.
So his confidence shines through. So if you do fancy one and he's on the broadcast pre-race or in the lead-up saying, we're on, we think we're a really good chance.
The only problem was everyone was on Rosberg as a result of that, but we'll get to that a little bit later.
We will talk about that a little later.
Can't hit them all. I think his multi that he said started with Trapper John came to a crashing halt.
It all was into Rosberg, so...
Bugger.
Now, you mentioned there were a few hard luck stories. There certainly was, and there was also big news with Damien Lane being suspended. Have a look at the interference here, which means that Damien Lane will be missing the next ride on Treasure the Moment. Now, that is him there on the Lloyd Kennywell trained Galloper, which is...
Eternal
Warrior. Now, that's Unit 5 getting absolutely knocked from pillar
and
to post.
And Eurocanto as well. Gets chopped in half.
Ali Barber had to make a long, sustained run from the back as well.
Boy,
so all of those were pretty unlucky. Now, because of that, Damien Lane was given 17 meetings. He's going to start that after next week because he wants to ride 60s in the Australian Guineas, but he won't be on Treasure of the Moment in the All-Star Mile now.
Yeah, it's so disappointing for Damien because he'd had such an amazing day at Flemington the Saturday prior, but you can't do anything that's going to copy a suspension for careless riding, but you can understand how urgent he was to get a gap there because the horse was absolutely bolting. If he had clear galloping room, I think he would have been right in the finish.
Yeah, he flooded to the line, didn't he?
Yeah.
We understand they're pushing on towards a golden slipper, so that's great. And I think the form from this Blue Diamond might stand up pretty well in Sydney because we're yet to see a standout in the 2-year-old brigade up there.
The only thing I'll say is, and we'll touch on what Philip Stokes was able to achieve with Stretton Ruler up in Sydney yesterday, the Blue Diamond form looks so strong, looking towards a golden slipper. In terms of the time of this race, they went out at a pretty genuine clip, nothing frantic, but it was genuine enough. The last 400, last 200 wasn't anything blistering. So the overall time of this race isn't anything to get super excited about. In fact, the Zetative was run at a quicker time overall as well. So just bear that in mind. The fastest last 200 was Eternal Warrior in 12:02.
Okay. This could be the big V's year as far as the Golden Slipper is concerned. There's only been 2 Victorian-trained horses that have won the Golden Slipper in 30 years.
Wow.
Miss Finland was one, and the other one was Crystal Lily back in 2010. So it's been a big drought, but I think this could be the year that maybe we can break that hoodoo because I've done a ring around this morning. Closer to free, pulled up really well. Danny O'Brien says we are heading to a golden slipper. Streisand, I believe the plan is, as long as she's pulled up well, to head to the golden slipper. Mick Price said that Guesthouse has felt the run. He's a little jaded, so he'll give him a couple of days, but he would love to get him to the golden slipper. He thinks he's going to be even better suited up in Sydney as well. And Lloyd Kennewell is going to be heading to the golden slipper as well.
Yeah, really exciting. I think of that brigade, the one that I'd be most excited and keen to follow would be Eternal Warrior.
Absolutely.
Just because he was only second up there, and he does actually have gate speed. He's just drawn awkward barriers that have sort of forced their hand to get back in the ruck. So I think there's more upside to come. He's a son of extreme choice. So he's very much in my thoughts for the big one.
Okay. All right. That's the look at the Blue Diamond. It was a great race. Good luck to Clinton. Good luck to Benny Mellum. Hope your head isn't too sore this morning, but it deserves to be, and all the owners as well. We'll take a break. You're watching The Verdict on this Sunday. On the other side, we'll have a look at the other 2 big Group 1s on Diamond Day. Welcome back to The Verdict. I hope you are enjoying your Sunday morning. I've got something that'll get you nice and excited because right now we are giving away shares in a racehorse, and that's all with our good friends My Racehorse, who had a ripper day yesterday with Ninja. We'll look at that again. Mufasa Ben Willis has got a great band of horses at the moment. All you need to do, free to enter, just get your phone, scan the QR code there, and you can win a share which is a half-brother to the Group 1 star La Creek. Wow-wee. Circus Maximus out of Destiny Cove. We are giving away 5 micro shares every week over the next 5 weeks. I will announce the winners with Mick Sharkey on the Verdict podcast every Monday. So scan on the Sunday. I'll announce the winners on the Verdict podcast on the Monday, Sharky. Make sure you download the Verdict podcast and listen as well. They are flying My Racehorse at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, Ninja, a very good winner yesterday. What about the pedigree on that horse?
I know.
Not a bad free share to get a hold of.
All right, so can we enter?
Probably not.
Okay, all right.
Yep.
My brother, Mark Sharkey.
Let's have a look at the other Group 1 on the day. The Futurity, and it was Willow's World in the other 2 Group 1s. This was a great ride on Pericles. He's finally got his Group 1, and it just continues the incredible success of Godolphin. He now makes himself a future stallion, the son of Street Boss. He's won $7 million in prize money, which is pretty hard to compute for a horse like Pericles.
It'll be tough for him to be a stallion unless they do some reattachment surgery. And that was
hang on, he's a
That was the quirk of that race yesterday, Michael. No colts or entires in the field this year, which is quite unusual because it is usually the Futurity a race that you'll get a 3-year-old sneaking in to try and grab that Group 1 or Group 1 placing. Beautifully ridden. Treasure the Moment, leading first up and then kicking for home. Look, she's run a good race. I don't think she was probably fit enough to have that task and complete that task yesterday. Absolutely would not be dropping off her heading into an All-Star Mile. No, I didn't. No, I certainly didn't. She gave a really good kick, which is a great sign. So I think she's come back well. She's got a little bit tired late. Tough if you're a fan of Treasure the Moment like I am, Grace. I absolutely adore her, so I was a bit filthy afterwards. But Pericles a deserved Group 1 after the spring campaign that he put in with Bjorn last time.
Yeah, and he's just an absolute dynamite fresh horse.
Yeah.
That's now 4 wins from 8 starts first up. So obviously he's a good horse. He'll go on with it this campaign, but he deserved to win that race, and it was a plan perfectly executed to hit that first up, knowing how good he is fresh. So, yeah, fantastic for all involved there with Pericles.
Maddie Laurie said that she's pulled up well this morning, so they press on to the All-Star Mile. They'll need a new jockey, no decision there because of Damien Lane's suspension. He also says he would have preferred her to maybe get a little bit of cover and follow, be the stalker, not the stalked in the race, which I think is understandable, but I'd like to see her put one away now as well. I know she had that little hiccup in the spring. We're getting to the stage where I'd love her to just bring back the old Treasure the Moment and stamp a race.
I saw and heard a bit of chat about her being like, nah, she's not as good as we thought. I agree with you, Shark. There is absolutely nothing wrong with what she did yesterday. Like, absolute pass mark, if not even went, like she didn't win. She was a short price favourite. I think she was too short. In the Memsie when she won, she was first up as a spring 4-year-old mare up against, Mr. Brightside and all these horses that were resuming, older gentleman geldings off a winter break. She had a huge fitness edge there. The fitness edge that she had this time first up against the rest of them off a summer freshen just didn't exist. So she was also ridden a touch upside down first up. I think she was actually enormous. And if anything, I'll be like, yep, you have come back as good as I was expecting you to. You can go on with it now and be really competitive.
So you'd back her to beat Tom Kitt and Pericles in an All-Star Mile?
Yep.
Definitely.
Well, it depends if Pride of Jenny's there.
Well, yeah, she's the flying many horses ointment.
Just in terms
except
of weight.
Shearwolf. He loves her. It's a bit of a byproduct of, Winks and Black Caviar, and to an extent what we're seeing with Autumn Glow. People just expect good horses just to win every time they go to the races, and it doesn't work out like that.
And they say $1.90 about Treasure the Moment, but they're good horses that she's racing against. Like, she's a good horse. They're good horses. She's not Winks. She shouldn't have had that sort of fanfare around her.
Pericles is a good horse,
Yeah,
but he's not a...
Buckaroo Fresh is a good horse.
Mr. Brightside, OK?
No.
And she pantsed Mr. Brightside in the Memsie.
He may well have been set for that race yesterday, Pericles. This is our opportunity. Let's go in and hit it, knowing that our first and the second up run, pardon me, are going to be our most effective. Treasure the Moment will roll into Sydney as well. She's got a long campaign ahead of her. I think what we saw are two horses peaking at different times and one probably out of its comfort zone first up.
I might have confused Pericles as an old gelding. The trainer, Bjorn Baker, he might be an old gelding, but he's got a bit of life in him. Have a look at the celebrations, which is what I love when we see... This is Bjorn watching Pericles in Sydney. You wouldn't want to be sitting near him. Have a look at this. This is what I love. He wears his heart on his sleeve. There is no greater celebrator in racing than Bjorn Baker.
Look at him.
Oh, wow.
What about the fellas sitting behind? They've just realised halfway through they had front row seats to the Bjorn show. He is into it. And is it the High Rocks training regime suiting him well? He's looking very trim and taut.
He's as fit as his horses at the moment.
Wow,
absolutely.
Dangerously
He's running marathons as well.
Boy, oh boy.
A couple of the others out of the race, Aussie Kier would have been really happy. Buckaroo and also like a Lucy Enormous. So Australian Cups for them. They're both now equal favourites with about 3 others in the Aussie Cup.
It was all eyes on Buckaroo down the outside, but then you watch the replay and there's like a Lucy zipping up on the inside, and I think this might be her prep, Grace. It was a quiet sort of spring for her, just a few runs. And Chris Waller does this often, doesn't he? He picks which carnival he's going to have the horses peaking for. I reckon this is the prep that will see the very best of Like a Lucy.
Definitely.
Great run back to the inside.
Yeah, definitely. She was the fastest last 200 of the race.
Where do you go with Evaporate?
Oh, I think most of these horses, potentially not the 2 Waller horses, but I think most of those in the finish will carry on to the All-Star Mile.
OK. Can he turn the tables, do you think?
Absolutely. He is knocking on the door for a big one. He hasn't done it yet. He's just been a little bit of a frustrating horse in that he is the opposite of Streisand in that he's not push button. He goes out there, he gets on one rein, he misses the start, he over races. He's still putting it all together, but he's been so competitive at the top level for a couple of preps now, and he's still only an autumn 4-year-old. He will win one of these one day.
Doncaster, maybe?
Yep. I would say that's on the agenda. Probably go All-Star Mile next and then head up to Sydney. I wonder what the Waller pair do. Obviously, they sprinted so sharp fresh there, whether they then come off a touch.
All-Star Mile Australian Cup, wouldn't they?
Yeah, possibly.
Yeah.
Maybe go up to Sydney for a Queen Elizabeth as well.
At the end, yeah.
They're in for great
He's a
preps.
very, very good horse.
Absolutely.
The only one that I think was disappointing yesterday in the Futurity was Feroce. I was expecting more from him. But when you actually go back and look at all the replays on the day, it was a hard day to make that sustained run out in those very wide lanes around the bend. Most of the winners were either right on speed or sort of cutting up the inside and then getting out into the straight. So that big building run out wide was not a great place to be, which is where Feroce was. So maybe a slight excuse there.
Okay. All right, that was Willow notching his 6th win in the Futurity Stakes. We'll take a break. On the other side, we'll have a look at Willow winning his very first Oakleigh Plate.
It's the build-up to the Australian Guineas, and Racing.com delivers all you need throughout the week. Wednesday, the Trial Show delivers expert insight and analysis. It's a triple treat on Thursday with Get On SA and On the Hunt. Ladbrokes Friday night racing lights up Southside Cranbourne. Saturday, the Australian Guineas at Flemington, where some of the country's best 3-year-olds test themselves over a mile. And on Sunday, The Verdict breaks down the big moments before the Sunday Sesh team wraps up the week in style. Racing.com, all week, all access.
Yeah, plenty coming your way on Racing.com. Don't forget the Sunday Sesh today, that we've got a couple of nice meetings, and the big boy in Hong Kong, Caulfield Rising. We'll be watching that on Racing.com later this evening as he strives to break the record for the most wins in Hong Kong, which I think we just sit back and cheer, Sharky. It's exciting to see him going around, and we'll get to see him in the Spring Carnival as well. I don't think any of these Oakleigh Plate horses will get anywhere near Caulfield Rising. These are the second-tier sprinters. I don't want to deride the race, but because I love the Oakleigh Plate. I love it. It's the 144th running of this race, but I don't know. Is it stuck at the moment? It's 1 week after the Lightning. I don't think we're getting great fields in Oakleigh Plates. Hedged run second was enormous with 59 kilos, well under Tropicus. He's now the Group 1 horse that can head to the breeding barn, but this isn't an elite Group 1 field.
It's not, but I think of the major sprint races that are feeling the pinch a little bit with the glut of options, this is the one that can kind of cop it a little bit because it's a handicap. So you can get away with it to a degree. Tropicus, Mr. Caulfield Grace. It's he must just wake up, look at the form guide and they say, well, you're off to Caulfield today, buddy. And he's like,
Yep, it's my day.
high five or hooving or whatever they do. He's pumped, right? He loves this place. He's only ever won at the track. He's so reliable and it was a great win. Great for Kiora. Stud 2, they've got a new stallion there to build around. Point Barrow, etc. The horses that got back in the field just weren't suited. They didn't go like Oakleigh Platers. So they weren't able to get into the race from well back. I think there'll be another day for Point Barrow. We know how talented she is. She might get a Group 1 option in a Sangster or something like that later on in the year.
Well, I mean, this was her first go outside a 3-year-old company. And yes, it wasn't a vintage edition of the Oakleigh Plate. They're still, seasoned sprinting types. She was at the rear of the field. Again, that sort of sweeping run wasn't really the place to be on the day. She had a few excuses. She can absolutely bounce back. She started favourite, disappointing. She wasn't, closer to the finish. But Sam Friedman had said, well, we're going to have one on speed and one out the back. So hopefully, either of those two can get the job done. Tropicus did that. Sat in the exact same spot as Streisand did to win the Blue Diamond, 3 deep just off the speed. And with Tropicus, he won the Scalacci, was it, first up last prep. 1100 metres Caulfield, doing the exact same thing. So I just love the execution of this clear plan that they've got, that he goes, he's a beast of a horse first up, that obviously had him very fit. To just be able to absorb and sustain a really genuine tempo and kick off it, he does it first up time and time again. So the plan was there for him to be able to go and do it, and he did. So well done to all involved.
A couple of runs, well, unlucky runs to mention. Gigi's Mistruth.
Well, let's actually, Shark, have a look at this. We've got the vision. So if you back Gigi's Mistruth, you would have been going, where the hell is she?
Yeah.
That's her barrier one. She's done almost like a Chautauqua. She was declared a runner. Had a chat to Ben Gleeson. It was a horror day for Tiaka yesterday. He can only think that the barrier boys, who do an unbelievable job, might have had her tail at the back, which they do for a lot of horses, and maybe she resented that. And that's the only reason that they can think, because she has never, ever shown anything like that. Mick D said she just pushed herself back in the barriers, did not want to come out. When she did, she's hit her head as well. So she's lost a tooth or got a wobbly tooth. So it's just a day to forget. She'll have to go back to the barriers and get a certificate. And they're thinking about trying to have a crack at the Newmarket with her now.
Why not? She goes well down the straight.
Yep.
Such a shame for the connections. I met some of them yesterday at Caulfield, and they were so excited
so well
to have a
suited in
runner
that
in an
race.
Oakleigh Plate. It was perfect for her. She was going to run well. Well, maybe in hindsight with the tempo, it may not have suited her running on, but it just sucks to go to the races for a Group 1 and you're that happy about, just participating, and then your horse doesn't get the chance. De Bergerac was the other run to mention.
Yeah.
Rainbeck was saying this horse is in for a really good preparation. We know he's been Mr. Consistency in lesser grades. You watch that replay again, he's stuck on the rails behind horses going up and down the one spot. I think he would have finished very close to the placings with a clear run.
Yeah, definitely. That's probably where Gigi's Mistruth would have been, to be honest, if she had have been in the race. The one that I want to talk about is Hedged, because everyone's saying, Hedged, 59 kilos, like you can't win an Oakleigh Plate with 59 kilos. But it's not it's all comparative. You had Persian Spirit on 56 kilos. So why can't Hedged, who is absolutely airborne currently, win an Oakleigh Plate with 59 kilos? And he just about went and did that. I thought he was...
It was a good ride from Harry Coffey.
It sure was.
That's him in the middle there in the roll the dice colours. They had an almost day, obviously. They had Great House run an unlucky third in the Diamond, and Hedged, who Gavin Bedgegood has just breathed new life into this horse. It's going unbelievably well. Where do they go with it now?
I'm not sure. Obviously, the Newmarket's an option, but I'd love to see him up in Sydney in a Galaxy. Probably doesn't have to have top weight there. Goes on wet tracks. He's just absolutely flying at the moment, Hedged. He will win a big one. For a moment there, I thought he was looming to win that race. It was just a phenomenal performance from him.
Sam Freeman, nice 30th birthday present for Sam yesterday, winning the Group 1. He's saying that Tropicus is likely to go to the William Reid, better suited around a bend rather than going to a Newmarket. And the other news out of the race was another big suspension to Ethan Brown. We know Ethan's been in great form, but this is him on the leader here. And you see, he just lets it float in a little bit on Way to the Stars, and then Don't Hope Do just clips heels. So because of that, he's copped 20 meetings. So you can see it just clips heels behind. So he's delayed it to ride Observer in the Guineas, as you would, and then he'll be off for 20 meetings after that.
Yeah, it's a costly time of year for jockeys to be on the sidelines for such long stints, and it's also not ideal for connections who have got these jockeys already penciled in to ride later on in the campaign. So they'll be scrambling to find some new riders, that's for sure. Yeah, absolutely. Sharky, anything else you want to follow out of the Oakleigh Plate, or is it?
I definitely want to give GG's another chance, and I think the Newmarket, she could run a cheeky race there. The Bergerac, I'm not sure the race that they'll go to, but maybe just a listed or a Group 3, it can land a punch in something like that.
And just a word on Willow too. He tends to be a jockey that's a little maligned by punters, but 2 Group 1s yesterday. He rode a treble on the day. He's got 88 Group 1s now. It's a pretty amazing career.
I don't know if he is maligned. I know people like to, he's just so lovable. Actually, everybody loves him. You see him at the races every time. If you've got a group of punters and there are all the jockeys there, they'll be zoning in on Willow. He's just an absolute fan favourite. He's a sport favourite for sure.
Was it Friday night? There was vision of him with some loose units.
They were very loose.
They were lubricated and hydrated and all sorts of catered. But Willow got out there and got some happy snaps with them, and they were frothing it. They were absolutely loving it.
They were basically heckling us live on air. Willow comes out of the jockey's room, tells them to shush, and they all go quiet as church mouses. I was like, this is incredible.
That is brilliant. That's what good parenting does. Willow is a very good parent as well. We'll take a break. I need some help at my house, actually. There is plenty more to come as we look at the rest of Caulfield after this.
It's Costella, the marginal leader, 200 metres to go with Expulsion out deeper. Then came along the river.
This was the first race at Caulfield yesterday, and it started what was a wonderful day for Team Corstens and Larkin. 3 winners on Blue Diamond Day in Verdot, all ridden by Benny Allen. I spoke to Troy at the Bushfire Appeal Day on Friday at Seymour, and congratulations to the Seymour Race Club, Racing Victoria. In excess of $200,000 was raised for local CFA and the frontline first responders, which was absolutely brilliant. But I said to Troy, give me your best tomorrow. And he said, Harry's Yacht. And I was getting to the last one going, don't tell me if this thing gets beaten. But he said, Verdot at one stage he thought was the best horse in his stable.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I remember him saying that. And last prep it had trialled up really, really well on a few occasions and was heavily backed first up. And it was a little bit disappointing, but good to see them get the effort there, the win there for their efforts. And maybe this is the prep the horse realises his potential.
Yep. Race number 2 was the Sedative. This is where things started off a little pear-shaped for Clinton McDonald and supporters because that's Rosberg last, and he was smashed into $2.40. This is a horse Clinton has consistently said is the best horse in his stable.
Well, there's a few that may go better, apparently, given the performance that we've seen here from Rosberg. I mean, I don't know, he said maybe he's just not acquitting himself. Obviously, what he does in his trials and everything he does at home in his track work is a horse of, extreme ability, but we just haven't seen it at the races in a couple of starts now. He was toward the rear of the field, but he was certainly entitled to finish off much stronger than he did. So back to the drawing board with them, whether they think about possibly gelding him.
Yeah, I was going to say.
Maybe to apply himself a little bit better.
He was detached at the back of the field. He showed no vigour to want to get into the contest.
Yep. He had the blinkers on too.
It was a very poor run from a horse that everybody knows has more ability than that. I suspect he'll have a date with the vet for a gelding procedure sooner than later.
Yep. Peloton was really good though, because he kicked off his campaign against the older horses in the Rubiton, and then he's come back to 3-year-old company. Really bomb-proof performance from him. The Sedative has overall faster time than the Blue Diamond. So I think that's worth noting.
It's funny, I was thinking after watching the Oakleigh Plate that they could have thrown Peloton in an Oakleigh Plate.
Yeah.
Tropica's won the Sedative last year, actually. So good placement from Michael Friedman. When they come down with a horse, they always perform extremely well. Let's have a look at the third race, and this was the second winner for Corstens and Larkin. And this horse is airborne, Sharky. Maybe a little unlucky last start, Magnus Spin, when drifted off the fence and let the winner up on the inside. But no such dramas yesterday. They got this horse flying.
He kind of wanted to yesterday, but I think Ben Allen was ready for it and was trying to correct him, as he started to get the wanders up. Really strong to the line. Loomed up, was in the right spot, just didn't run the trip. So he'll come back to a mile and he'll be really effective at that distance. He was in the race to find out yesterday, and they did find out. Really liked the run of the horse in the OTI colours back inside Saganti.
Yeah, wanted to go fierce.
Third run now, just overdid it a little bit. I reckon fourth run, that horse will be just about ready to win. And Grace, it's not a horse that everyone's going to be putting in their black book to back, and it'll be a short price. You're going to get each way odds when he finds the right race.
Absolutely an improver in that field for sure. But, immediacy in taken, there was some, they were obviously expected to go better than they were. Again, that sort of building run out in those really deep lanes just wasn't really the place to be on the day, so I would consider that as well.
I don't know. You go broke following immediacy, don't you?
Yeah.
I'd like it to get a win, but before I want to jump back on there. Let's have a look at the Autumn Stakes. This is for the 3-year-old stays, and it was a truly run event, and it did focus on those that had the best staying prowess, and they were pretty much trained by Matty Kamani. What a great race for Matt, who celebrated the biggest win of his career. Really, really good ride here from Damien Lane on single choice. coming up the inside there. And then have a look at the stablemate on the extreme outside.
Massive run.
Who comes through the Derby form, Deal Done Fast.
He is the South Australian Derby winner. Deal Done Fast. He'll be winning that race. Hopefully he wins something on the way there, but that's his race.
Yep.
Single choice, great here. A lot of good runs. It's Azura. Akora, really tough up on speed as well, so he's heading the right way. Look, I don't know if we're seeing horses here that will want to go on to Sydney and have a crack at that derby.
South Australia's
I think South
perfect.
Australia
Chairman's Stakes, like it'll be here before we know it.
Yeah, exactly.
This
is the level. It feels like the level for a group of these horses.
Definitely. And they're great targets to, put a big circle around. I think especially Deal Done Fast was the eye catcher of that race, so I can't wait to see what he goes on to do.
I think there are a couple of others that hit the line well. Mr. Epizio, is that who we're saying that? And also It's Azura with two others. I think they all would be heading towards Adelaide.
Big tracks for both of those horses, I think. Mr. Epizino in particular, just around Caulfield, looked a bit awkward getting around that corner and then finally got balanced up and hit the line. Might be a different story at Flemington if they can find a good race.
Excellent. All right, well done to Matty Kamani and the team. We'll take a quick break on the verdict. Still to come, the rest of the Caulfield card, and we'll look to Sydney as well, where a Victorian absolutely dominated the two-year-old talk. Well, it wasn't a Group 1 race, the Angus Armanasco, but I think the winner is a Group 1 horse in waiting. Now, have a look at this from She's an Alibi. And, guys, well done to Zach Spain here. This would have been hold your breath moments. That's her buried back in the green with the yellow cap. $1.45, $1.50 favourite. The weight of the world on her. What do you do here, Grace?
Well, you wait patiently and you hope that the gap appears, and then you just know that you have an absolute weapon of a racehorse underneath you that will go, and she did exactly that. This was, in my opinion, the performance of the whole day. She is a complete star. Shark?
She was clearly the best horse in the race. Not even bad luck could stop her yesterday. Salty Pearl was the second best horse in the race. She's run second. And the rest were sort of in a group. It was very tight. The gap came, punters breathed a sigh of relief. But you want to see good horses win. You don't want to see them beaten in unlucky circumstances, particularly when they don't have a clear crack at it. So I think for the theme of the day, it was great that the run came. I met Fred yesterday.
Did you?
Fred Nofke, the mysterious owner from Queensland, who told me he only buys Saxon Warriors.
Really?
Well, so far so good.
He's bought a couple so far. He hasn't paid a lot for them, 10 grand and 5 grand for the next one, which he says goes well as well. So, yeah, really, he was having a very, very good day when I saw him yesterday.
Because he owns her outright, so Fred's well in front. Great call from Matty Hill yesterday, who summed it up beautifully. That was Peter Moody's 5th win in the Angus Armanasco. Paid tribute to the old guru trainer at Caulfield, who he trained out of his complex for so long. What's the future hold for She's an Alibi? Let's have a listen.
Oh, listen, we just thought she needed to come on a little bit and needed one more gallop, and I'm happy we did it. Do the right thing by her. Unfortunately, it cost us the opportunity to run next Saturday in the Australian Guineas, which was always our aim, but now we might have to head to Sydney to take them on in the Randwick Guineas. And I'd just like to say, wonderfully proud to win this race. Angus Armanasco, one of the doyens of the turf, and for me to have the opportunity to train out of his base here at Caulfield for all the years I did after all the great success he had 5 times, it makes me very proud. It's a bit like winning the TJ in Sydney for me, my old boss and then my old landlord, so I'm really proud to win that too. I know there's not a lot of Armanascos left around, but thinking of them, and great to win the race named in the great man's honour.
Yeah, it means a lot to Moods, obviously. Look, I just think that this filly, we saw her twice last campaign, and it was like, well, how good is she? She just keeps winning with ease. She was going around in Rockhampton Maidens this time last year. Her time winning that race was almost identical to Pericles winning the Futurity Stakes.
Wow.
So she has absolutely smashed the clock.
And she did it ease down.
She did it ease down off that fast lead speed. So they've gone out 3 or 4 lengths faster than Treasure of the Moment did. So the lead speed was faster in the Armanasco than it was in the Futurity. She's come home in the 10th best last 200 of the day. Like, she's completely smashed the clock. She's got so much upside. She's clearly the horse I'm most excited about off the back of what I've seen from her visually and backed up on
Yep.
the clock. She goes to the Randwick Guineas next.
That's going to be some race. 'Cause
Yeah.
There's a few good 3-year-olds in Sydney as
Yeah.
well. Peter Mooney doesn't get carried away, and it gives you an indication as to the high regard he holds this filly in, because he said she could be a Cox Plate horse come the spring.
Wow.
She could be. So exciting.
All right, we've got a lot to look forward to there. Let's have a look at the next race at Caulfield, and that is the Mannerism. And brilliant front-running ride display here from Dan Stackhouse. And what a great moment it is for Michael Megan as well to get Bossy Bonita winning a Group 3 race.
Yeah, a valuable horse now, obviously, as a mare who's picked up black type last start and then wins a black type race. Daughter of So You Think. Not long departed, So You Think. So she's going to have some really good residual value, and hopefully there's some more wins along the way for her. She's not the biggest mare, Grace, but gee, she tries hard. Carl Diorio pointed out to me yesterday that she was the only leader in the race. When you look at Damascus and where it's going to be, he said, this is the greatest bet on the card today. I wish I'd listened to him.
Well, it would have been nice, wouldn't it, to have actually listened to that little pearl of wisdom, which perfectly worked out. We heard connections afterwards saying that was the plan. She's the only leader in the race. Let's get to the front, let's rack and stack. And it was basically just a 400-metre dash home, this race. They completely walked.
Where's Damascus at?
Well, look, if you're a Damascus fan, you could make excuses yesterday that she didn't probably get the clearest run, the clearest crack at them. She finished off okay in restricted room. If that wasn't D-Day, I don't know what D-Day is. She's got to knock one over. She is not running at the same level that she was in New Zealand when she was winning those good races. That's a fact.
Last race, the money came, and it was the informed Corson's Larkin stable again. Harry's Yacht was drawn to get the perfect run. Shark, and that's how it played out.
Oh, and didn't they just go right off in the mounting yard after this too? Will Larkin, fair dinkum, he had the best strut on him you've ever seen.
Well, he deserved to.
And the lovely Delaney, Ben Allen's partner, was dancing. They were all dancing together, all of their mates. They were absolutely having a ball. Probably rolled off into the young Franco DJ set afterwards. But it set the card off right. A great day for the Corson's Larkins team, and well deserved too. Good, tough, on-speed horse. A lot of speed mappers were on this horse as their best of the day because he was just going to get that stalking run behind Porter. It worked out beautifully for those that followed through and backed it.
And Stealth of Night had the tricky map. Like, it sort of reversed from the last time both of these horses met. So very popular result in the last race. And, yeah, well done to the Corson's Larkin stable. They're really in a purple patch and hitting some sustained form. It's fantastic to see.
Two Wolves is a nice horse.
Yep.
Following him out of that race. He hit the line well. Let's head to Sydney. I want to have a look at this 2-year-old race, and it was Philip Stokes. He doesn't take them to Sydney very often, but gee whiz, it was a good move yesterday. This horse was scratched out of the Diamond. He would have got a run as an emergency, but he drew 19, so they said, no, we're going to go up to Sydney early and have a crack at the Silver Slipper. And he absolutely obliterated the horses who were the top line for the Slipper market.
Well, here's the Diamond form, isn't it? Through the Prelude, where he's run fourth and the horse goes and wins by 4 lengths. Like, Hydrix has found the line okay, but not at the level that he was at his first start, you wouldn't have thought. If that's the right form, Grace heading to the Slipper, it might be a Victorian whitewash.
You love to see it. You love to see it. I would have paid to see what, a lot of the Sydney siders were thinking. They're like, hang on, who is this horse? What's it done?
Now,
fantastic result for Phil Stokes.
Yeah.
Great judgment for him to say, let's go up there. And I think now, as a result of that performance, we're going to see many of those Blue Diamond runners say, we're definitely going to the Slipper. It's not will we, won't we? It's absolutely we're going there, because they're right in the race.
Where is Hard Kick, Grace? Because the way it won the Talindert, it could have almost won a Blue Diamond. Were we going to the Slipper or not?
No, he won't be going to the Slipper. He's going to have a spell now. He's going to be seen again as a 3-year-old in the springtime. He's just had a really busy time. He was bought as a ready-to-runner, so he basically didn't go out of work, had a couple of quick trials, went to the Talindert, won that race, and just showed signs of immaturity afterwards. So for the longevity of the horse, absolutely, we know how much ability he has. Put him aside now. Don't get tempted to, keep pushing him, go up to Sydney for a really tough assignment there. He's in the paddock. He'll be bigger and stronger, and we'll see him again as a 3-year-old.
So not to Hong Kong yet?
No.
Okay. Oh, very defensive. You're not getting it yet, David.
Wow.
Okay, just settle down.
Boy. Yes, Grace, no Grace.
Fingers crossed.
Let's have a look at the Group 3 Hobart Field. I think this is a good race. I like these 3-year-olds. Ninja Another one for my Racehorse. Don't forget, join the competition. If you want a free share, you could have a Group 1 horse like this. Really impressed with Autumn Boy and really impressed with Attica here, Sharky, as well.
Yeah, both really good runs. And Green Spaces too in the white cap. I thought that was a really nice run for a horse probably looking for more ground. Ninja, boy, it just still irks me. The Magic Millions Guineas result. I can't get over that. He's a stronger race. He wins it with ease. Don't tell me he wouldn't have won that race if he didn't get run off the track. Like,
it's hard to get a protest upheld at the moment.
Oh, very hard.
Yep. He is that race there'll be winners galore out of that. Really good first up, second up runs for a lot of those horses. But
how do you think She's an Alibi compares to them?
Oh, I think she wins. Yep.
Okay.
I do.
You agree?
I don't know if I'm as bullish.
I'm
She'll
very
run very
bullish.
well.
I'm very bullish.
Golden Boy will come on a lot for that run.
He will, but he's always out the back needing the right runs. I just think She's an Alibi. She's got every single weapon in her arsenal that she needs. But we'll see. We will see. It's going to be a great race around with Guineas.
I like this Shark and Grace head-to-head. Let's have a look at the Millie Fox here. And, oh, my gosh, if you're on Lazura, you're probably still crying. How did it get beaten, Shark? It was just get in the queue sort of stuff halfway up the straight.
Well, it was. You thought she was just going to go on and win, but she just run-ended first up. She'll be better second up. I know that hurts if you backed her yesterday and you didn't get the W, but there'll be another day for her. She's obviously come back well. She was beaten by a race-fit horse, and that happens sometimes at the start of these campaigns for these good horses, unfortunately.
Big gap back to third. Yeah, a shame that she didn't win yesterday, but no knocks on her performance, that's for sure.
Yeah, Godolphin had a day out. They
sure did.
Wrong way round for punters again, but they got the Quinella in the last. Want to head over to New Zealand, Sharky, because I think we found another star filly. Have a look at the horse in the Yulong colours. Second last, a Hope Bay wins. Yulong have been buying up all the best fillies in New Zealand, and gee whiz, they've got another one.
Oh, what about the come around the corner there? The horse in the blue cap just bumps into it. It was all over the place like it was drunk, that horse. Didn't matter to her. Hope Bay wins. Once it got into clear air, she went through her gears. She is an absolute class act. Short favourite now for the NZ Derby, and rightfully so.
Yeah.
So with well written and this horse, they've got a fair arsenal.
Yep.
I don't know the depth of the fillies she beat there, but it was just the manner in which she did it. And as you said, Derby odds on. Gee, I hope we see her in Sydney a little later.
Well, it would make sense, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
It's a great program for these staying 3-year-olds in New Zealand to then head over to Sydney to hit the Oaks or the Derby up there. So especially on a wet track, it would be fantastic.
So trained by Lance O'Sullivan and Andrew Scott as well. So could be another big year for Yulong when it comes to the 3-year-old fillies. Now, we've put this in. If you haven't been following the story of Constitution Hill over in the UK, this is the best hurdler they've had over there in a number of years, but he's got the yips over the hurdles. He's fallen at 3 of his last 4 starts. He would be the short price favourite for the upcoming Champions Hurdle, but they've said, we're going to give him a run on the flat to see how he goes. Sharky, look at this. He wins by 9.5 lengths. Now, it was a novice hurdle. They basically put the race on for him, but there was a couple of flat horses there with a bit of form. Now, I like to get a bit excited about things. He's 9 years of age, but we've seen a fair few jumpers come over here and perform well in the Melbourne Cup.
Well, why not? Why not him? He is an absolute star hurdler. He just hasn't been jumping the hurdles all that well. But he's obviously going very well. That was great to see him at Southwell go and win so well. How loved are these jumps, the top-line jumps, horses, Grace? The crowd turned out there and they were going absolutely ballistic when he won.
I mean, this horse is similar to, remember when Chautauqua decided that he didn't want to jump out of the barriers, and how it captured everybody's attention. Well, Constitution Hill's the same because he's got so much ability, but he's just decided that jumping's not for him anymore. He keeps falling, as you say, and it's heart-in-mouth stuff. It's to see him go and do that, everybody that follows that horse over in the Northern Hemisphere, we're just delighted to see him have a victory like that. It's so exciting.
And it's now become a very difficult decision because if they have another crack at the Champion Hurdle and he falls, the public fallout will be enormous.
Yeah.
They're talking maybe the future is the flat. Maybe he goes to Royal Ascot. I mean, look at Ethical Diamond wins a Breeders' Cup race and Absurd, we've seen what they did. The runner-up in the Melbourne Cup last year. Come to Melbourne. Blood, get on the phone, make a phone call. It would be a huge story.
Oh, mate, Blogsy was sort of jostling for it as well
Yes,
on social
Blogsy,
media.
so
He wants to come back out again.
Fowler just wants another trip out here. Maybe he come out with the Constitution Hill team. It would be, look, that's a long way away, isn't it? But how good would it be if he went flat racing in Royal Ascot and picked up, maybe not a Gold Cup, but something in between?
Yep.
It's great for racing that he could make that transition and be effective.
All right. We're going to wrap up the show with on track, off track. Sharky, you can kick us off. Who's your on track?
Eternal Warrior, and in brackets, the Blue Diamond runners that are going to the Golden Slipper.
Yep.
But particularly Eternal Warrior, I don't think we've seen the bottom of this horse yet. Interrupted run yesterday, hit the line really well. Imagine if Lloyd Kennewell won a Golden Slipper.
Wow.
That party could rival a Clinton McDonald party, I reckon.
Who's
Probably not a Beyond Baker party, though.
Well,
It'd be tight.
It would be tight. Dead heat, maybe.
what's your on track?
Clinton McDonald,
Clinton.
just absolutely flying at the moment. Definitely pays to follow whatever he's got running anywhere, especially if Ben Melham is in the saddle.
I'm tipping right now Clinton McDonald's feeling a bit off track, but he deserves it. My on track, it's easy. She's an alibi. I agree with everything that Grace says. Off track for you, Sharky?
Bombing the start. Is there a worse way to do your money? And GG's Mistruth was a great example yesterday, just never took part in the race. But apart from being held up and running, I think you're beaten before the race has started, essentially, Grace. It's a shocking way to do your cash.
It's no good.
20 seconds left, Grace. Who's yours?
I'm Rosberg, off track.
Okay.
Yeah, he needs to lift significantly.
I am Sydney 2-year-olds. I know you can yell, you can hate it. This year is the year of the big V. Go the 2-year-olds. Hey, Grace, great to get you on, Sharky. We'll see you soon.
Yes.
Enjoy your Sunday punters, Sunday sesh coming up soon.